guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on behind me, but really those are just all of the ingredients that we're going to be using for today's meal. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I come up with this recipe, it's actually really good, then just stay tuned. I don't know if I mentioned this in my other videos, but I was vegetarian for basically 5 entire years. I did not eat any meat at all. The point is that while I was vegetarian, I had to get pretty creative. I pretty much came up with this recipe. So this is what I call my vegetarian chili mac and cheese. It's basically chili and mac and cheese in one. It calls for pasta, and typically when I make chili, I like to use at least 2 different kinds of pastas and 2 different kinds of beans. A little bit of cavatappi. It's actually already boiling. I used what I had left of this, so this is going in the recycle. I'm gonna have handfuls of tricolor rotini. These are the 2 pastas that I used. Again, cavatappi, which I really like. I feel like the curl really holds the cheese, or in this case holds the bean and the chili really well. To have a little bit of a different texture and a different flavor, I use a different kind of pasta. Veggies, it has the tomato and it has the spinach, so I feel like that also gives your dish a little bit of an extra kick or some extra flavor. When it comes to chili, less is less and more is more. All right, when it comes to chili, you really want to use as many different flavors as you can, as many different beans, different kinds of veggies, because that's really what gives your food its flavor. My pink beans, also my pinto beans, and some veggies that I already have cut up, and I will show you what those are. As you guys saw for my veggies, I used onion, red pepper, green pepper, garlic, and finally you want to use some kind of a hot pepper. It doesn't matter if it's jalapeno, it doesn't matter what kind of hot pepper it is, but I feel like all chili needs a little bit of a kick. Now, how much of a kick you decide you want is totally optional and up to you. But is it an option to use at least a little bit of some kind of a hot pepper? If you ask me, the answer is no. You need at least a little bit of a little something hot, all right? Everything is to taste, and at the end of the day, you're the one that's gonna be eating it. It's your recipe, so you do what you wanna do with it. But as far as my recipe goes, 2 kinds of pastas, they should be the curly ones, 2 kinds of beans. You want 1 can of tomato sauce, some tomato if you have it, red pepper, green pepper, onion, garlic, carrot, and some hot pepper. All of those veggies are going to cook in your broth. Typically, I would use veggie broth. Like I said, I developed this recipe back when I was not eating meat, so chicken broth would have been a no-go. However, I don't have veggie broth right now. All I have is chicken broth. So for today, we're improvising, doing some chicken broth. But if you're a hardcore vegetarian and you really want to stay away from the meats, I get it. Just do veggie broth instead. So what you want to do first is cook your pasta. The pasta is going to be added to your chili base, which is going to be in a second pot. Have not started this yet. So let's get started here. Go ahead and take your chicken broth and pour a decent amount of that in there. Freshly chopped veggies. If you have fresh tomato, if you have diced tomato, then you don't need to add any more than 1 can of tomato sauce. Like I said, I'm only adding a little more tomato sauce because I don't have actual tomatoes. A little more of this. Here are my canned beans. If you're using canned beans, it's really important that you rinse them, because if you do not rinse your canned beans, they will have that slimy, gooey kind of film on them, and that's not what you want. So make sure that you strain them, make sure that you rinse them, make sure that they're nice and clean before you get started with cooking with them. These are Velveeta cheese. Flavors, so many veggies, beans, the cheese, it's melty. You're not even gonna miss the meat, I promise. As far as seasonings go, first thing you need is your chili powder. We're making chili, duh. A little bit of paprika. Some cayenne pepper for the kick. Black pepper. Parsley. adobo. And even though we did add fresh garlic, I always add a little bit more garlic powder. You do not have to use salt unless you would like to. I personally do not use salt because number one, the adobo is already salty. It's basically just seasoned salt. And number two, we are going to be adding cheese to this. The cheese is, as you already know, pretty salty, so you don't want to overdo it with the salts. So we're just gonna let this cook for a little bit before adding in the pasta. So you can just stir this occasionally and let it boil until it thickens. You do want to make sure that the beans are fully cooked before you add in your pasta. I am going to leave that alone and let it cook for maybe 20 minutes or so. That's going to give it time to thicken. It's also going to give time for all of the veggies to cook. They should all be soft. You should not bite into any hard or raw piece of veggie. Basically, the pasta is your finishing touch. Just go ahead and throw that pasta in, give everything a nice quick stir. Let it sit for maybe 10-15 minutes so that the flavors can marry a little bit and marinate some more. Feel free to throw some extra cheese on top there so it can be all nice and melty and yummy. And you're ready to serve. Okay guys, so the finishing touch, just sprinkle some cheese on top however much you want because it is chili mac and cheese after all. You can have this with biscuits. That's what we're having it with. Saltine crackers. And this is my leftover lunch for work the next day. Alright you guys, so that pretty much concludes this video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and please comment down below if you guys liked it, if you tried it, what your thoughts were. I would be super curious. I will definitely comment back. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will be seeing each other very soon. And don't forget to exercise with all this comfort food. Bye.